Welcome to How I Unfucked My Life. I'm your host, Christine DeGrazia, registered nurse and founder of Calm by Intention. On this show, we bridge the gap between mindset and physiology. We're combining the raw grit it takes to change your life with the clinical science it takes to regulate your nervous system, because it takes more than just mindset to calm a body in survival mode. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today. I want you to take a breath, and I want you to find that one vision of your life that feels like home. Maybe it's a career shift that feels like a leap into the unknown, or maybe it's something much quieter. The seemingly impossible task of rebuilding your life after life has leveled everything you knew. Sometimes the most audacious thing you can do isn't building an empire. It's simply deciding today that you don't have to be the person you were yesterday. It's the decision to stay in the game when you feel like the world has already moved on. So whether your vision is a stage or just a sense of peace that you haven't felt in years, it requires the same thing. And that's the audacity to move forward when the path isn't clear. Today we're talking about that vision and the grounded, tiny habits that will actually bring it to life. Now, I need to be 100% real with you. I've walked through some incredibly demanding chapters of my life. I have navigated nursing school. I've navigated the weight of starting a life over on my own. And I've stood on stages and I built a business from the ground up. But even with those miles behind me, I still sit here every single week with a vision for the future that feels massive and scary. And sometimes that vision is very intimidating. The truth is, I am just a woman who gets up every day and tries to align my actions with the life that I want to live. Some days that feels effortless. The energy is high, the path is clear, and I can see exactly where I'm going. And I love those. I appreciate those days. That is just a sense of flow that I just love it. But I'd be lying if I said every day felt like that. I still have mornings where the fog rolls in. I have days where I'm not sure if I'm heading in the right direction, or where I'm just getting through is the only win I can claim. What I know for sure is that you have to love and appreciate the 1% days just as much as the 150% days. Because despite everything, the fear, the exhaustion, the doubt, you kept moving forward. If it was just a micro step, you moved the needle. Now, I want to explore what actually happens in your mind and body when you choose that 1% over zero. When you have what I call a 0 day, when you know what you want but you stay frozen, your brain enters a state of high alert tension. Your body feels it as a low-level stress hum. You aren't resting. You're actually draining your battery because your mind is fighting your lack of movement. It feels heavy, stagnant, and exhausting. You start feeling bad about yourself because you've made no progress, which is killing your confidence and your self-esteem. Negative thoughts increase, which is not good for anyone. But the moment you move that needle just 1%, the moment you drink that extra glass of water or you record that 60-second memo, your brain releases a microdose of dopamine. It's a completion loop. Physically, your nervous system exhales. You've signaled your body that you are safe and you are in control. You take a hit to your self-esteem and confidence, but in a good way. Negative thoughts are challenged. That 1% shift is the difference between a system that is seizing up and a system that is starting to flow. You don't need 150% day to feel good. You just need to close that 1% loop. Now, in my world, I live by the no 0 days. This isn't just for people who are doing a podcast, or it's for the person who is struggling to just be. When life feels overwhelming, when just moving from the bed to the kitchen feels like a mountain, you find the micro movement. Whether it's losing the first pound when you're trying to lose weight, or deciding to be a person who is kinder to themselves, or just surviving a day you didn't think that you could survive. It is not a 0. That is how you rebuild your life. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need the audacity to lift your foot. That's a 1% day. We bridge the gap between impossible and done with some non-negotiable actions. So let's say the impossible rebuild, trying to rebuild your life. Decide one thing that the new you would do today. Prove to your nervous system that you can handle different. The impossible health goal. You want to lose weight, get in shape, whatever it is. Don't look at the scale. Just drink 1 extra glass of water or take a 5-minute walk. Claim that 1%. The impossible business or habit. Spend 10 minutes naming your why or recording that 60-second voice memo. 1 minute of progress is a win. The big goal is your why, but the tiny habit is your how. Don't shrink your vision just because it's intimidating. Whether you're building an empire or just rebuilding your spirit, keep the goal massive, but make the path human. Commit to no 0 days, because at the end of the day, an amazing life is just the sum of your 1% installments. I'm Christine DeGrazia. Keep dreaming big enough to scare yourself and keep moving small enough to stay grounded. I'll see you on the path, my friend. And if this episode hit home, please subscribe and like so it can reach more people who need it. And if you know someone who could use it, please give it a share with them. Thank you and have a great day. Thanks for listening to How I Unfucked My Life. I know the work is heavy, but remember, you aren't just fighting your brain, you're learning to lead your body. You have the grit to change your mindset, and you have the biology to find your peace. And every choice you make is a step towards the life that you deserve. So stop arguing with where you've been and start deciding where you're going. See you next time.